Hello everyone. Now in today's lecture we will discuss about transport. As you all know that body of living or every living organism is made up of millions of cell. Yes, million of cells are present in the body of living organisms. है ना? So yes, let me write it. Okay, and in order that the organisms may be able to maintain its life and just for the survival, all its cell of their body, then it need essential substances like food, oxygen, etc. है ना? So in everyday language we can say transport. So basically, transport, you can say that it is a type of arrangement in an living organisms that carry the essential substances to all the parts of his body. Okay, so let me write down transport carry the essential substances means you say beta food, oxygen, okay, essential substances, these are the essential substances, and what etc to all its part so that they reach each and every cell of its body. This is known as transport. Okay, so in everyday language we call it transport, means to carry things from one place to another place. Okay, so in biology, transport, it is a life process in which a substance absorbed in one part of the body of an organism is carried to other parts of his body. Okay, so we will now study the transport system of plants and human beings and describe the plant which make up these system. And describe the part which make up these system. So in other words, we will learn how plants and how animals carry substances from one part of their body to another part. Okay, so what type of substances? These are the absorbed food substances, okay, as well as oxygen and water also. Clear na? Okay, so first of all, let me talk about transport in plants. So transport system is plant is less elaborate than animals, including human beings. Okay, actually plants are less active. Yes, these are less active, so their cells do not need to be supplied with materials so quickly. Okay, and also due to the branching shape of the plant, all these cells of plant can get oxygen for respiration and carbon dioxide for photosynthesis directly from there by diffusion. Did you got my point? That the plant get oxygen. How they get oxygen? For what? For respiration. Just like human beings, na, plant also need oxygen for the process of respiration. Okay, and they get carbon dioxide. Why do they need carbon dioxide? For the process of photosynthesis, है ना? Photosynthesis. So all these things they get from air. From air. How? By the process of diffusion. Okay, so only substances which are to be supplied to a plant through a transport system is the water and minerals. Okay, because they get gases, they get these gases, I am to say carbon dioxide for respiration and oxygen for respiration and carbon dioxide photosynthesis from the air. Okay, by the process of diffusion. Okay, so there is only two substances such as water and minerals, okay, which they can't get from air. Okay, so they need their transport from one part of another body, one part of the plant body to another plant body. Okay, and instead of transporting water and minerals, one more job of the transport system of plant is to transport food. Okay, prepared food. Got it? So what type of prepared food? After the process of photosynthesis, they prepare a food, that is glucose. Okay, so this plant should be transferred in various part of the leaf. Now can you tell me in which part of the plant food is prepared? Yes, leaf, exactly. Okay, so it is necessary to transfer food from leaf to different part of plant. Yes, different part of plant. Clear? Like stem, root, etc. So basically for this now, when there is a need of two things transport. Okay, transport. So for this, plant have two types of conductive system. Keep this in your mind. Okay, so let me write down here conductive system in plant. Conducting system, just a second, conducting system in plant. Okay, so there are two type of conducting system. First one is known as, let me just a second. Hanji. First one is known as xylem. Second one is known as phloem. Okay, so let me tell you what are the function, because here we need only two things to transport now. Okay, so with the help of xylem, it play an important role in the transportation of water plus minerals, or you can say water and mineral. Clear? So how water and mineral are transported in plant? With the help of xylem. Okay, it is a structure. I will explain it just a second. Okay, now phloem, it is a transportation of food. Okay, and even hormones also, not only food but hormones also. Okay, clear? So these are the two conductive system. One is the xylem and another one is the phloem. Okay, so first of all let me talk about the xylem part. Okay, xylem part, first of all I will tell you about how water and minerals are transported in different part of the plant. Okay, so here the transport of water and mineral, and it will occur with the help of, yes tell me, it will occur with the help of xylem. Just a second. Xylem. Okay, so write on heading xylem. Okay, so this is the first heading, xylem. Okay, so yes, just a second. Hanji. So what is xylem? Xylem vessel, it is a vessel like structure, and it is a non-living thing. Non-living. It is non-living. Okay, long tube like structure. Clear? Which runs like a drain pipe, throughout the plant. Okay, throughout the plant. Clear? So let me show you a diagram here. This is the xylem vessel. Yes, this is the xylem vessel. Look at this structure. Is it look like a long tube like structure? Okay, so it runs like a drain pipe through the plant. Okay, so let me talk about their different parts, what it consists of. Okay, so these consist of, okay, actually this is the xylem vessel, not xylem. Okay, because xylem actually consists of many things. It consists of four things. First one is the first, second, third, fourth. Okay, it consists of xylem vessel. Okay, it consists of tracheids. It consists of xylem fibers. Clear? As well as xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma. Okay, and beside these four, three of these three are dead, non-living part, and this one is the living part. Okay, clear beta? Clear? Xylem vessel, tracheids, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. These are the components of xylem. Okay, so here I am written about the xylem vessel. Then xylem vessel is non-living, long tube which runs like a drain pipe throughout in the plant. Okay, now let's talk about more thing about the xylem vessel. Look at here, that you can see in the figure, the xylem vessel is made of many hollow dead cells called vessel elements. Okay, so this is the xylem vessel, which is made up of made up of many hollow, yes, many hollow dead cell. That's why I'm saying it is a non-living thing, non-living part. Okay, join end to end, that join end to end. Okay, the ends wall of the cell have broken down, so a long open tube is formed. Look at this, a long open tube is formed. Okay, because it is broken, a gap where end wall of the cell has been broken. This is the part. Okay, this what clear. Now xylem vessel runs from it's a run from roots, okay, of the plant right up through the stem. Through the stem, it means to say it is unidirectional. Okay, they here the root to the stem like that. Okay, so it is unidirectional. Clear. So the xylem vessel branch into every leaf of the plant. Okay, and xylem vessels do not contain the cytoplasm. Right down, do not contain, it do not contain cytoplasm, and even it do not contain nuclei. You write down or nuclei. Okay, and the wall of xylem's vessel are, it is made up of lignin. Look at this, this is a thick wall of xylem vessel that is that contain lignin. Clear. Okay, and as well as here cellulose is also present. Clear. So it containing lignin and cellulose, their xylem vessel, the wall of xylem vessel. Okay, so if I'm talking only the lignin, it is a very hard and strong part. It is very hard and strong substances. Okay, so xylem vessel provide strength to the stem. Okay, it is very hard and strong, that will provide strength to stem, strength to the stem. Okay, because it is a long tube like structure na, which it runs like a drain pipe throughout the plant. Okay, clear, and helps to keep the plant upright. This is all about the function of lignin. Okay, so wood is made mostly the lignite xylem vessels. Okay, clear. So in flowering plants, do you know that either only xylem vessel transport water, or both xylem vessels and trachite transport water? So let me talk about the trachite, the next part of your xylem, which is these tracheites. Okay, first of all, we will talk about trachite. Then we will discuss about the mechanism of transport of water and mineral in plant. Okay, so here I am going to tell you about the tracheites. Okay, now write down. Yes, tracheites. So it is also long, but yes, this is a thin. Okay, it is a thin and spindle shaped cells. Okay, look at the diagram. Let me show you there. Look at the diagram. Okay, it is a thin and spindle shape. Spindle shape means so there's some like a tapering and having tapering and bit, and it has many pits in their thick cell wall. Okay, so yes, with pits in their cell wall, in their cell wall. Clear. So water flows from one trachite to another through the pit. How it flows? With the help of pits. Okay, so tracheites are dead cells, as I told you. Okay, now although all the plants have trachite, they are the only water connecting tissue in non-flowering plant. Got it, my point? Okay, and keep in mind that xylem is little bit complex structure. Okay, now let's talk about the mechanism of transport of water and mineral in a plant. Okay, so let me write down here mechanism. Write down the heading better. Mechanism of transport of water and minerals. Here we are talking about the plants. It's very obvious now. So I'm not writing it there that in plants, and there's a space is also less now. Okay, yes, just give me a second. Yes. Now Now let's talk about it. That the plant take in water having dissolved minerals from the soil. Okay, so let me draw it there. Here the diagram is given. Already diagram is given. Okay, so let me write down here that plant take water. How it take water? With the help of soil. है ना? Is it clear? And this water having dissolved minerals. Clear? And how they get water? With the help of root. Okay. So through the soil, via root, the plant get waters. Clear? And all this water containing minerals called sap. This water, plant take water with minerals. Okay. And this water containing minerals is known as sap. Clear to everyone? Okay. Now it is carried by the xylem vessels to all part of the body. Okay. That carried sap carried by the xylem vessel. By the xylem vessel. Because I told you now that xylem vessel is responsible for transporting water. है ना? Clear? So carried by the xylem vessel to all parts of the plant. Parts of the plant. Okay, so let me show you here diagram, then I will explain you all each and everything with the help of diagram. Okay, clear? Now look at the diagram. That the roots of a plant have a hair called root hair. Yes, look at this. It is known as roots hair. Okay, so this root hairs actually here in the soil, look at this, these are the soil particles. Okay, now these root hairs absorb the water. Okay, absorb the water. Clear? Okay, so after absorbing the water from the soil via root hair, the water, and how there's absorption occur? By the process of osmosis. I told you. Okay, now then water goes to the epidermis, then it goes toward the cell to cell transfer actually occur by the process of osmosis. By osmosis. Okay, here water movement occur by the process of osmosis. Then it goes to the root cortex, then it goes to the endodermis. Okay, and finally it reach to the xylem vessel. And after xylem, what happens? You are very familiar. Okay, I told you that the xylem vessel of the root of plant, it is connected to the xylem vessel of its stem. Yes, very obvious, na? Yes, look at this. Here the xylem vessel of root, and it is connected to the xylem vessel of plant. Okay, now xylem vessel of the stem branches into the leaves of the plant. Okay, now it divided it to here. Okay, clear? So in this way, water and minerals from the soil reaches through the root and stem to leaves of the plant. Only about 1 to 2% of the water absorbed by the plant is used up by the plant in photosynthesis and for the other metabolic activities. The rest of water is lost as a water vapor to the air through transpiration. Clear? Okay. Now, yes. So here we will talk about the transportation of food in plant. How transportation of food occur in case of plant. Okay. So, food synthesized. Where food is synthesized? Can you tell me? Food is synthesized in leaves. है ना? Leaves. And hormones synthesized, and where hormones are synthesized? These are synthesized at the tip of roots and shoots. Okay, and these are transported by phloem. Okay, yes. Okay, now do you know that phloem use actually energy, and here the transport is bidirectional. We have discussed now that the xylem the transport is unidirectional, but here the transport is bidirectional. Okay, and phloem and all things happens with the how transport of food occur in the plant with the help of phloem. Na? So let's talk about the phloem. That phloem consists of, just like xylem, it was consist of four things. Phloem consists of just a second. So it consists of sieve element. Okay, it consists of sieve element. It consists of companion cells. Okay, it consists of phloem parenchyma. Yes, parenchyma, as well as phloem fibers. Okay, phloem fibers. Now, out of all these four, these three are living. Okay, these three, this one, and this one, these three are living part. Okay, while phloem fiber, this is the dead part. Clear? Okay, and keep this in mind that in the flow in phloem is in the bidirectional. Okay. Okay, yes, here the transport is bidirectional. While transport to the xylem is the unidirectional. Okay, clear? Hmm. Now, as I told you, it contain many components. Okay, so here are the components given. Look at the diagram here, where it is. Yes, this is the diagram. Okay, so like xylem vessel, phloem is made of many cells that join end to end to form long tube. Okay, however, the cell wall of the cell which form phloem are not completely broken down. Just like here, look at this. Here the walls are broken down. Yes, here the walls are broken down. Here the walls are broken down. Okay, but in case of phloem, the walls are not broken down. Okay, so first thing is that walls are not broken down. Okay, clear. The end wall of the cell in the phloem form the sieve. Yes, end wall, this one, it is from the sieve plates. And what are sieve plates? Can you tell me? Yes, actually this sieve plate, I don't full think that it contain sieve plate containing this. It will be containing, just a second. Anji, it containing cytoplasm. Okay, but no nucleus. While in case of xylem vessels contain no nucleus and no cytoplasm, while it contain cytoplasm but contain no nucleus. Okay, yes, let's talk about the sieve tube. Sieve tubes are small holes in them. Okay, sieve tubes which have small holes in them. Yes, small holes in them. Clear? Okay, so these holes in the sieve tube, it allow these sieve to allow the movement of food, allow to pass food, okay, along the phloem tubes. Clear? The sieve tube which form phloem are living cells which contain cytoplasm but nucleus. Is it clear now? Now each sieve tube has a companion cell next to it. Look at this. This is the companion cell just next to it. And this companion cell containing actually dense cytoplasm and a nucleus also. Here in sieve tube there is no nucleus present, but the part which is just connected to the sieve tube having the nucleus. Okay, so food is actually made in the mesohel. Mesohel, what is the mesohel? Do you remember? Yes, photosynthetic cell of a leaf. Okay, then the food like the sugar made by the mesophyll, it into the sieve tube. Let me write down all the path. How the path travel by the food to transport. Okay, so food from leaves. Food goes toward the where it goes toward the sieve tube. Okay, sieve tubes of phloem. Now interconnected phloem tubes are present in all part of the body. So once the food enter the phloem tubes in the leaves, it is transported to all the part by a network of phloem tubes present in all different parts. Okay, so this is how translocation occurs. Actually, transport of food, this is known as the translocation. Okay, so this can be framed as a question, though it can confuse if instead of transport it is written translocation. Okay, actually the movement of food in phloem or translocation, it is also known as translocation. Clear? Okay. Now, do you know that the movement of food in phloem, it takes place by utilizing energy? Yes. Okay. So sucrose is transferred, or food is transferred transferred to sieve tube. As I told you, it is transferred to sieve tube. Okay, by using ATP, by using energy. Okay, so this increases osmotic pressure of tissue, causing water to move inside phloem. Okay, so in the phloem there is a continuous input of solutes from the sources tissue and a continuous efflux at the shrink. Clear? Okay. If you have any confusion, I will explain it. Just give me a second. Okay. So write down the steps. I am going to write in there step. Waters entered into sieve tube containing sugar by the process of osmosis. Okay. So write down water enters into the sieve tube. Clear now? Okay. And that contains the sieve tube containing food. Okay, how water enters into the sieve tube? By the process of osmosis. Is it clear now? As you already know about the process, how water move into the plant. This is confirmed now? This is clear? So, water enter into the sieve tube. That sieve tube contain food by the process of osmosis. Okay, to with the pressure in the phloem tissue rises. Clear? Where it goes? Just a second. It causes increase in phloem pressure. Okay, another thing. Clear to everyone? Okay, so this high pressure produced in the phloem tissue move the food, and due to this pressure, due to this increased pressure, food move to all the parts of the body. Okay, cause this increase in the phloem pressure cause increase pressure cause. Write down increase pressure. This lead to, not cause. Okay. Just a second. Increase pressure leads to movement of food, transport of food in different part of plant. Clear now? Okay. So this is how the phloem allows it transport food according to the needs of the plant. Clear? Okay. So let me explain you how according to the need of the plant. But actually this is the process. This is the mechanism of transport of food as well as water. Okay. So let me give an example how phloem transport food according to the need of plant. Actually, in a spring season, even the sugar stored in the root or the stem of tissue of a plant would be transported through xylem by the buds which need energy to grow. Okay, clear beta? So this is how different food elements and different water and minerals are transported into different part of the plant. Okay, thank you.